Hello and welcome everybody, Kicker of Elves here. We finally got him, Spider-Punk in the house. November 2025, Arachnid Anarchy season is upon us. As the time recording this, season's only been live for a couple hours. I have gotten the chance to play Spider-Punk, and I'm going to give you a little review, a little rundown of him so far. Just straight out of the gate, I'm a big fan of this card. I've only played him in Move, in this list, which you can see on screen over here, this 12. This is the Move deck from the video I did just a few days ago. Following the guidance of the great Sizer, I've cut Aranya for Spider-Punk. And I've got to say, he feels really strong. At base level, you can move this once. When this moves to a location, steal 2 power from the highest power enemy there. Great flavor on Spider-Punk. Love that he's taking it from the highest power card, not just a random card. Just goes with the whole punk anarchy, sticking it to the man. You're taken from the big and powerful, not the little guys. I genuinely do love that. At base, this is a 3/7, and what does feel good is that it's the steal 2, because if you're moving him once and moving him away, it's not just that you're literally increasing his power to 7. He goes up to 5. The opponent's got -2. It just makes them have to deal with buffing up that location more versus just making this card supercharged like Human Torch. I've seen some sentiment that this card's not as good as Old Vulture. I think that's a little bit early to make that call. It's yet to be seen. Yes, he does not scale up as much, but the built-in move can go really nice. Right now, he feels like the third scaler the move deck needed to really break up some of the clunky draws. In the video I did a few days ago, I talked about how it can feel kind of bad when it's turn 4 and you haven't drawn your torch or your dagger yet. That happens sometimes. Spider-Punk definitely fills the role of a card that can get big enough to just contest a lane pretty much on its own. Ultimately, the game plan of this move deck, where Spider-Punk has helpfully found his home, the plan A for this deck, and how Spider-Punk achieves that, is I want to get one location very, very big with a card like a Spider-Punk, a Human Torch, or a Dagger, and maybe there's another couple cards in there, and then set up my other location in such a way that I can seal it with a Juggernaut. That's plan A. I've already had a game where I did not draw Human Torch or Dagger, but Spider-Punk on his own, with Ghost Spider, with Madam Web, with Sparky, was able to get up to like 15 power, and that's just on him, not counting the negative afflicts going out to opponents. What's really great is the fact that his text right here doesn't say once per turn. So if you're moving him multiple times per turn, if you move him off of a Madam Web location, then you Ghost Spider him, then you use Sparky. Each time that card moves, each time Spider-Punk moves, he's afflicting a card there. Now, this should go without saying, but please make sure that you're moving him into a location where there is enemy cards there. If you're playing him out early, you got to plan around that. He's not gaining any power or stealing any power if there's nothing there to hit. So don't have him in an awkward spot. Don't be like when you're trying to be smart with Dagger early on and you throw Dagger and you throw a Ghost Spider and Dagger procs once or it does the animation and it does 0. Spider-Punk feels very strong. I think this added bit of consistency is great for move. I haven't gotten Web Sling yet, but I feel like adding Web Sling in here, maybe we're cutting Ghost Spider. Maybe she's out. Be a shame because I do love that variant, but we still have to see. All I can say is, keeping it brief for once because my videos end up being very long, Spider-Punk absolutely feels worth it in the early testing. The Season Pass is the single best thing to get in Marvel Snap. This card feels worth it. I'm really excited to see what the rest of the season brings and to do more with Spider-Punk. And with that, let's jump into the ladder and continue to push to infinite. The earlier the better, get away from all these bots. Thanks. Okay, Frencher, let's see what we got here. Don't hate this opening hand. Went from don't hate to quite a big fan of this opening hand. Oof. This feels snappable. Don't know what he's playing, so don't get too wild now. But get Madam Web in the left. Jennifer Kale, sure. We are gonna throw Spider-Punk in there because either way we're either moving him into a location where Madam Web can move him next turn, or he's hitting Jennifer Kale and getting the extra point. We can pull him back with Ghost Spider. Love that animation there. Awesome. Okay, so boom. So this is another great situation where we can take advantage of Cosmo. So we're going to pull Ghost Spider. Ooh, decisions. I think we pull Ghost Spider back over to Atlantis and we try to call their Cosmo on Penny Parker or Jennifer Kale. Not gonna snap, let's just say. Cosmic Ghost Rider! So they snap, but the problem there is that, okay, so let's think this through. So they've snapped us. We can move this here, Dagger here, and Sparky. So what we're going to do next turn so hold up everybody. We play Sparky, then Dagger, and then we don't move Punk just yet, because next turn we can either do a cheeky Heimdall play or do some Juggernaut stuff. We're going to stay in on this and let's see how it goes. Okay. So I think we move Spider-Punk to the middle. I'm thinking here. Spider-Punk right, proc, throw Heimdall, move Sparky, move the Spider-Punk back. Send it. Get Penny. Yes! Oh, we hard countered their Mercury Shadow King. I did not see that coming. My heart skipped a beat for a second when I realized Sparky was going to hit Heimdall, but brought us back. Ah, oh, what a really great. That was a great play. The classic move philosophy. You can't know where your power is going to be if your opponent doesn't. Or totally biffed that. That was so almost kind of cool. Your opponent can't know where your power is going to be if you also don't. Unless you're just popping off perfectly with the move deck. Sometimes your turn 4, because you don't want to play Juggernaut, can be a little bit awkward in terms of what you're playing. So the idea of getting down a Fanfei on 4 to do that for a move on 6 after you've helied on 5 and use Juggernaut is very appealing. This is a really good starter hand here. This is robot action here, but this could be a very good illustrative game for just kind of the heuristics of this deck. So I'm gonna go Madam Web mid, absolutely. Mantis. And then this is just a perfect situation where you get Human Torch down. The turn 2 Madam Web and turn 3 Human Torch always feels phenomenal. Debris in a Strange Supreme deck. That's a good call out. I love Strange Supreme. I wish he was better. Wish he was better. All right, so for this turn, we are going to throw Human Torch to the right, pull him back, and then get Dagger down. We will move Dagger to the left next turn, and then going into turn 5, we are either going to play Clasmo and Cloak or Hellion. Yeah, we snap this, we snap that. Let's see if we can juice the bot for some extra cubes here. The Collector, right into Lechugila, a truly pro play. Okay, so this is actually an interesting situation where normally you just want to play Hellion outright just because he's better, but Spire Punk and Cloak is compelling. Just because I want to make sure we're juicing this bot for all it's worth, we're gonna drop down. We're gonna move Dagger over there, drop down Hellion. This is pretty much sealed. I do like the Angela split here, the little puke green and orange. So, here we want to get Dagger over, and then because we are going to be lower on power, we'll also move Ghost Spider and Madam Web, and then play Heimdall to the left, so Human Torch goes over here. We get Dagger, Hellion, we get all these moving. It's very important for this deck, just make sure your Dagger and Torch, your Torch and Spider Punk, get your scalars in separate locations, and really think that through before you just throw down a Heimdall. There's nothing more awkward than just getting your scalars all in the same location and having 40 power in one location and 3 in the other 2. Devil Dinosaur! Yeah, that's a clean W there. Very fun. Enjoying the card. Okay, so let's look at our opening hand here. We've got literally all of our payoffs, which is something. We don't have any of our enablers. Hood, so we're looking at some misery stuff here. Okay, this just got a lot spicier. So we put Madam Web down on the left because we don't want to shuffle into our deck Vibranium Mines. He's gonna cable us. Maybe just pull the Cloak. And we get Torch down. That's a bummer on that Lemuria reveal. We do want to have our cards reveal themselves. We will get Craven down, and we will get Sparky down. Zemo. Is he gonna put Ghost Spider? Yeah, there's your cable. Thank you. Misery. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move Human Torch. We're going to Sparky back our torch. And we're going to plan on moving... let's just sequence this here. So we're thinking for a Heimdall end game. He might have gotten my Juggernaut. I don't want to risk it. So we're going to move Human Torch, get the proc. Bring Human Torch back to Madam Web. Then we'll plan on using Torch as our move for Madam Web during our Heimdall game plan. And then we will move Spiderpunk into the Craven location before we Heimdall Dagger in there. Things go crazy. Let's try it. Spiderpunk there. Human Torch there. Heimdall there. So yeah, what we're trying to do here, just to break it down a little bit, Human Torch going there. Or excuse me. Spiderpunk here. Decisions. It's Spiderpunk there, move Human Torch, and then Heimdall mid. So we're separating our scalars. Human Torch will get very big. Craven Dagger, Spiderpunk in one location going into Heimdall. Let's see what happens. We dodge Shang. He plays Cloak. We already would have won. Let's go. Let's go. That's a fun one. Okay, opening hand. Not in love with it. It does feel good to have both our endgame options here with both of our turn 5 plays, but you really want to be seeing some kind of early game plan. Like at this point, it begs the question of like, we're playing Cloak out just to tempo. We are not, because we have Human Torch. So we skip turn 2, which again, not ideal. But what we're going to do is check if this is a bot. This is a bot, baby! And what we're going to do is play down Human Torch. And the next turn, you just play Madam Web and Cloak. Got a Thor deck and a Wasp. Let's see, does the Infinite get pulled down? Jubilee. Jane. I don't hate it. I think we just do this and we snap. Don't let you only get bots during your climb to infinite. Take advantage of them to speed it up, because you're not going to be getting any better other than like the heuristic practicing of this deck playing against these kinds of things. So let's Hellion and bring it back. Typically want to be Hellioning to the right, but I like throwing Hellion here on the left because Madam Web can move him out of the way. Let's see, if he throws our Juggernaut down, things get a lot more interesting in terms of how we want to finish this off. So So it's this. You move Hellion over there. We auto-win that location. Craven, Torch, Jug. It's just a case where you try to win on points alone. And then we just Cosmo and Cloak. Just for the extra seal the deal. We got this wrapped up. This is one of the, let's see, hold on. Honestly, that's way better than I could have. Why is he so big? Why is Giganto 24? I just forget about Chavez plus Atlantis. Honestly, that's a scary number. Good for you, bot. I'm happy for you. And with that, I think we're going to call it for now. Thanks a lot for everybody who stuck around. For folks watching on YouTube, hope you enjoyed some of the highlights in the review. And yeah, awesome start to the season. Excited to be playing more Spider-Punk, messing around with Man Spider, getting web sling. Just a lot of really cool cards coming out. Catch you next time. Bye.